It is one of the most volatile pressure points in the world. It's right in our backyard and it just exploded. South Korea thrown into chaos as the army took over parliament and citizens took to the streets in wild scenes.
South Korea's government on the verge of collapse. It began late last night with a presidential announcement that shocked the country and the world.
I declare martial law to protect the Free Republic of Korea from the threat of North Korea Communist forces, to eradicate the despicable pro-North Korean anti-state forces that are plundering the freedom and happiness of our people.
It's the first time South Korea has been under martial law since 1980. Helicopters descending on the National Assembly as troops stormed in through windows. Furious protesters clashed with the military, taking to the streets in the middle of the night.
After watching the news, I felt anxious, and I also thought that this is such a national shame.
We are watching the recent developments in the ROK with grave concern.
Martial law is the suspension of civilian rule for military authority, handing unlimited power to the military commander in times of war or natural disaster. It was once common in South Korea, but hasn't been invoked for more than 40 years.
People could be prosecuted, put in jail without any kind of real reason. So the last thing they wanted was to return to martial law because it meant a failure of the democratic system.
While President Yoon cited an unspecified threat from North Korea as the cause of his declaration, opponents claim it was prompted by his own scandals and plummeting popularity. And just hours after the declaration, the National Assembly voted to overturn it.
The declaration of martial law is now invalid.
I will accept the Parliament's request and lift martial law through a cabinet meeting.
The only reason that people can come up with in this case is real desperation. There is no other proper explanation for why someone would commit what is ultimately a form of political suicide.
South Korea's largest union has said it will go on strike until Yoon resigns, and the National Assembly will charge him with insurrection and push for his impeachment. But its success would depend on members of Yoon's own party turning against him.
He should step down, resign immediately. This is the mandate of the people.
My sense is that in light of other previous presidents and their misdeeds, if you like, he's likely to go to jail for a number of years.
So are the president's days numbered? And will his departure be enough to end the chaos plaguing the country? Well, In Bum-chun is a retired South Korean Army Lieutenant General. South Korea is supposed to be the stable bit of the Korean Peninsula. How shocking was it for you to see your president go on TV and declare martial law like that?
Yes, maybe because we are a stable democracy. It was quite a shock. During my military career, I've had many instances where the unexpected had occurred, and it just was a gut-wrenching feeling that you always have. And yesterday evening was one of those moments.
You've served at the highest level of your nation's army. What's it like seeing the army being used and deployed in this way? Clearly, the population, the parliament, doesn't support it.
It's very, very sad. The men think they're following orders, which is the easy thing to do. But actually what they should be doing is doing the right thing. And I think that's what they did yesterday. So the days of martial law for unlawful purposes are gone. But I'm not saying that, yesterday was totally unlawful.
General, I feel like you're choosing your words very carefully. Do you think the president was reckless? I mean, this is a highly volatile part of the world. It's in our neighbourhood as well. Hasn't your country and the region just become a bit less stable?
I wouldn't say that. Korea has always been, we don't have earthquakes, but we have political earthquakes. And as you saw, it lasted 6 hours, which is close to a comedy, but thank God. And so it's just a normal day on the Korean Peninsula for me. Having said that, my president, I wouldn't use the word reckless. He's still my president, but, I would not have done that.
If you had to use one word to describe the effectiveness of this whole stunt, if you want to call it that, what would you say?
Bizarre and very embarrassing.
Well, adding to all of this potentially, General, there's a crazy dictator next door who's got a pretty firm grip on power. What do you think he reckons about all this?
I think he was surprised too, which is a good thing.
General Chun, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, the thing is, the Korean Peninsula is really sort of a tiny speck on the map, but it's so fragile because of the situation with North Korea.
Yeah.
And the world does rely on South Korea to just keep some stability there. We're in unstable times. I don't think it's in anyone's interest, particularly ours as well, that there's kind of more chaos there.
Good to see they got it under control pretty quickly, though, hey?
Did.